This is dealing with an issue close to my heart, food, sustainable food, and the challenges that climate poses for our food system. Take it away. Yep.
So farming is a big contributor to climate change throughout the supply chain. But almost tragically, farmers are the ones that are going to be impacted the most by this. Regional farmers in Australia, the ones that are on the outskirts, on the margins, the ones that rely on rain and variable rainfall to decide whether or not they make a profit or a loss each year, are the ones really going to be impacted, and they need better alternatives. My name's Brendan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Ecosystem Farms, and we have a way to make farmers to sustainably grow more food on their junk land using plants and fish. We've been running our proof of concept farm, which is where all the pictures in the slides today come from, for the past 4 years, demonstrating our patented technology and setup, and we're now ready to take this into the market. So the way we make this work is that we sell the farmers the setups, normally financed and secured just like a tractor loan through the banks. We then upskill the farmers, and then either through a revenue share model, we can provide them with the software and the remote monitoring to make it all work. The farmers don't need to have any prior experience, and we're with them through the whole way. So our platform can be used in a lot of different places, from the desert to urban areas, all the way to the snow. But we understand that, so there's a lot of global opportunities, but we understand that it all has to start somewhere. And so our initial beachhead market is looking for regional farmers in South Australia. Now there's about 4,500 grain growers in SA, and they're looking for ways to make their farm produce more money and not able to scale up with traditional options. Moving further beyond this, there's a global need by 2050 to produce 50% more food, and there isn't 50% more farmland. And we think that our solution can help to provide options for this. So our setup uses the waste from the fish to provide the nutrients for the plants. So there are very, very low operating costs. With using on-site solar generation for our power, means there's no electricity bills, there's no pesticides and no fertilizers, meaning the whole setup can be extremely profitable. From a high level, the system you can kind of think as like an aquaculture farm and a hydroponics facility and mesh them together, except there are some big differences. So we grow our plants in these gravel, sort of like tubs, the size of shipping containers that are on the ground, and inside of this, the water rises and falls, and this is where so it provides the ideal water, oxygen, and nutrients for the plants to their roots. Because we're growing in gravel as well, we can grow a really wide variety of plants, from herbs all the way up to orchard trees and everything in between. Now, with the gravel media beds are scalable and modular. So it means that at the scale that's needed to really impact on like large-scale agricultural production, we can use tractors to do our harvesting and planting into it. Now, this really gives us scales of economy and decreases the labor, especially in comparison to other soilless agriculture. Now, within the system, we recycle our water. So it goes from the fish tank up to our gravel media beds where the plants clean it, and then it returns clean to the fish. Now, this means we don't need to do any water changes, which in comparison to other aquaculture, they will typically need to do 5 to 10% water dumps every day. So with cleaner water, we end up with cleaner fish and cleaner and healthier fish, which means that we have lower mortalities and that we can remote monitor the system rather than needing to have experienced people on site 24/7. It means that that's how we can help farmers to be able to access it. So in talking with regional farmers, we learned a lot about what they're doing and the issues that they're having, and so we were able to we were able to understand what their needs were and see how our system can help them on that. So these are some of our financials. They come from the initial sale from the setups and then also from the subscription income. There are two real ways that our method of farming can improve on climate benefits. Firstly, with the water, where we use a fraction of what would be needed to do the same types of crops in traditional methods. But then because we're using on-site power generation no pesticides and no fertilizers, we can really reduce how much carbon is produced from food production. Myself and my co-founder Steve are working full-time on this, and we're excited to be able to scale the technology. We really do think that what we have is a way to grow enough food with the world's existing resources, and we want to put it out there in the hands of the farmers. Thank you.
Fantastic. Question time.
Thank you for that. I'll kick off. Would it be the farmers that sell the produce or you guys that sell the produce?
Yeah, so we've got either a subscription model or a revenue share. We wanted to be able to do that to give farmers the option. Some farmers are very against subscription models, and as well, but at the same time, some farmers want to be able to do their own thing, so we want to give them that option. The revenue share is probably more applicable for them because then we can wholesale their products. The products that we actually make are very unique in their own right because they can't be considered organic, but the end consumer can have complete confidence they haven't been sprayed. And so we can wholesale them for the farmers and then revenue share at that point.
And how much of the revenue comes from the fish?
Yeah, so it can be about, it's about half, depending on the crops that you grow on the ag side.
And then, so that the plant crops, what types of crops are you talking about?
Yeah, so all sorts. So we've grown a really wide variety of stuff. Like we're at the scale where it's almost a market garden, but silver beet, tomatoes, spring onions, we've grown field crops like broccoli and cabbage, but we've got banana trees in there at the moment and an avocado tree. Like there are so many things that are possible. The test that we're actually doing a test in Renmark where we're going to be testing out lemongrass and ginger as a long-term viable thing that's profitable.
And it doesn't mean growing plants, it's nice to have the water and the gravel and everything, but it's often there's a lot of other challenges about agricultural production. I mean, what level of skill is required for farmers who are used to running a totally different system?
Yeah, so because we're remote monitoring it, essentially our system is stable enough that then we can make changes on the fly to be able to make it work, and then they can use a lot of the same skill sets that they've got in their normal agricultural production and then translate those into being able to use the setup.
We do have time.
Thanks. Thanks, Brendan. When they grow their veggies or their crops, how will they get it to market? How are you thinking that markets, you have to get it efficiently and cost efficiently. So have you thought, is that part of your plan?
Yeah, so the inputs essentially are the fish food, and there's a lot of options for that, but ideally, most likely what would happen is that we would then take out suppliers and then come back with the products itself, the fish or the plants. And so that way, essentially, we're cutting down half of the transport costs on that.
Right, that's it. Thank you very much. Big round of applause.